Hello, this is Michael Cabrera, and you'll be listening to Meet the Mayor Deptford Edition, where I interview the mayor of my town, Paul Medany of Deptford, New Jersey. And I felt as if this is important not only for whoever's listening, whether it be residents of Deptford or whoever really wants to listen. I believe it's important because people want to hear from their mayor. People want to hear from their local government officials on certain issues. And while in the second episode, we will get into certain issues, such as how things with the Trump administration have affected things, and the Doge cuts and how they affect things at the local level. However, with this first episode, I just really wanted to get a sense of who Mayor Medany was as a person and what drives him to continue the work that he does, because he has been in office for about 20 years now. And I just think it's important for not only myself, but for other people to realize that these elected officials in your local government are just regular people at the end of the day. And without further ado, just get right into the episode.
So the first question I have for you is, what do you think is the most pressing problem facing the town today?
We don't like to say we have problems in Deptford. We have issues. So there's so many. That's a loaded question. But first of all, taking care of our residents, property taxes, and the economy is on everyone's minds. So, and in the state of New Jersey, which has the highest property taxes in the country at the moment, that falls down to the local municipalities. So trying to craft a budget where we provide services, public safety, public works, pay our salaries, pay our health benefits, and keep taxes stable as best we can, that's one of the most pressing issues that we have. And then other issues, some you could say are equal to them, or some just fall down. Public safety is a huge issue. Everybody wants to feel safe in their homes, when they go to their businesses, when they go to work. Public safety is a very big issue too. And then we go on and on and on with all the local municipal issues.
Right. And I guess just to piggyback off of that, what do you think can be done in regards to public safety and just with everything going on in the world today and just how crazy things can be and have been? Do you have plans set in place with the police department or any other services just to be able to be ready at a moment's notice?
Well, constantly. We constantly work with our police department. We're one of the few local towns that have a public safety director. To specifically answer one part of your question, Deptford Township has an emergency operations center, an EOC we call it. We're one of the few local towns that have a specific spot set aside, ready to go 24 hours a day. Computers ready to go, phone lines. All of our partners are hooked up with it. Our fire departments, our municipal utilities authority, the school district, of course the police department, the county, the state. We're tied into all of them in case of an emergency. So, and then from there, we work with our police department every day on public safety issues. Deptford Township is 32,000 people, 18 square miles, 70 police officers, because we have 6 state highways, county roads, our own local road system. Just the traffic stops and issues are just overwhelming for our police department, besides all the other calls. One accident for a cop usually takes maybe 2 patrol cars, and they could be out of service for a couple hours at a time. So people don't think about that. You stop somebody for speeding, that officer's off the road probably for an average of 15 to 20 minutes. So these are things that folks don't think about, but everyday life in Deptford Township.
Right. I think that is important just for people to be aware of, especially because maybe the average person might not be aware that Deptford Township has an EOC.
EOC, Emergency Operations Center, yes.
Emergency Operations
Yes.
Center. And just question about that just entails just extra hands on deck just in case something were to happen.
So we did it for emergencies, right? And emergencies can be human, or they can be natural disasters. Right. Several years ago, we had a tornado in Deptford Township. It was unheard of back in the day. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I was living around here at the time, and tornado ripped through around 15 minutes from my house, and my family took a drive through there just to, as morbid as it sounds, just to see what
everybody does.
Stuff is.
Yeah, it was so destructive. It was unbelievable. Mullica Hill, Winona. Look what it did to Winona. Parts of Deptford. It was, when I went over there that night, it was just simply unbelievable. But as soon as that tornado hit, everybody rushed to the emergency operations centers. We were in constant communications with everybody, got our public works crews out, our fire department, our police department, and it worked just like it was supposed to work because we practice it. We do operations there like 3 times a year where we make up a disaster. God forbid there's something happens at the mall or a school or wherever, some big public place. Besides then here comes the ice storms with power outages, et cetera. So we're ready for anything as best as we can be.
Right. And again, just to reiterate what I had said, I think it's important that, people of Deptford are aware of something like that available because not many people are aware of it to my knowledge. I wasn't aware of it to my knowledge as well.
Right.
And just the next question as well, what does it mean being the mayor of this town? What does it mean to you personally? Because you've been in office for...
I've been in office since the year 2000. I've been the mayor since 2006. Mm-hmm. So it's extremely important to me. I've always been involved in the community. I grew up here, started out in youth sports. I played sports in high school, always was involved in issues. Ever since I was in high school, I was fighting issues. So just to be able to be here, and the most important thing I think about being the mayor, or the most satisfying thing, is helping the residents, and providing all these community services that Deptford Township provides.
And just second part of that question as well, what do you feel like is the most satisfying, most rewarding aspect of your duties for being mayor for almost 20 years now next year?
Yeah, right. Probably the helping folks out of so many issues that they have, from small to big, and trying to keep our community growing and, prospering, because that's what public safety, economic growth, planning and zoning, all of those things that elected officials have a hand in. Elected officials in Deptford Township and most towns in the state of New Jersey, we set policy. We have a township manager that implements that policy. And so we get a chance to see our town grow and have a part in that growth. And like I said, one of the most satisfying things is getting calls from residents and being able to help them, which we can't do all the time. Right. But when we do, it's very satisfying.
Of course, as with any job as well. But
right.
I'm sure it's just as rewarding with you seeing that what you do for this town and seeing that the community be grateful for that and just,
grow and prosper.
And my next question would be, so what made you decide that you wanted to be mayor for this town?
Well, like I said, I was always involved in issues, as you could say. I never really got involved in politics to be, quote, the mayor. I wanted to just get involved, youth sports, volunteerism. I was always doing that. I'm a member of Deptford's Volunteer Hall of Fame. I've always coached youth sports, got involved in civic organizations, et cetera. So when the chance came and the opportunity came to run for elected office, I jumped at it. And that was in the year 2000. My kids were still young, but those opportunities don't come along too often. So I did it. And there was a specific reason I got involved. The mayor at the time, we were involved in youth sports, and it's a story. Everybody's got stories. We needed help at one of our youth sports organizations. Me and another friend of mine, we were working on the field. I'll try to be real quick. And a light pole literally fell during the day. It's a sunny day in June. I walk over, I'm in construction. I was in construction. There was never a foundation for the light. So back in the day, the guys just were putting stuff together so the kids could play. We go to the mayor and we say, hey, mayor, we need lights on our field. It was a midget football field at the time. That was one of the organizations I was coaching. And the mayor at the time said, well, good luck. You're on your own. So I went back to the meeting and I said, everybody, look, the mayor said we're on our own and I'm not accepting that. We need help with this. So let's get involved. Let's go to council meetings. Let's try to lobby for our organization. And that got the ball rolling.
Right. Yeah. So you'd say just the lack of attentiveness to what the community needs is
pretty much, is
what sort of lit that fire.
Yeah, it was one of the driving forces, among other things. But like I said, the real driving force was just getting involved in the community.
Right.
When most folks, when they run for elected office, local elected offices, they have no idea what they're getting into. And I had an idea, but I didn't know the specifics. When you get into these buildings and see what goes on here and the work that the folks do, it's just like, wow, I didn't have any idea. Even though I knew them all and grew up here, until you get inside in local government, it's pretty daunting sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe, especially coming from a background in construction.
Yeah.
You're dived in head first and you just are like, jumping right off the deep end.
Yeah, I wasn't a political science major or anything. We were, and most of us are. You know, most elected officials are teachers, truck drivers, plumbers, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's how it works, and it works well.
I guess the second question to that as well is, what is your favorite part of being there, and how does that affect you daily?
So I have a lot of favorite parts. Like I said before, helping residents, working with kids. Like this is Read Across America Week. I get to go read books to kids, and I wear my little cat in the hat outfit like they all do. And it's really, to this day, after 19 years, going into a classroom and see those kids' faces light up when a mayor walks into the room, that's very rewarding. It's pretty good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I bet it just reiterates the fact that the good you're doing for the town and just sort of makes you feel good about, being able to do what you do. Yeah,
I could go on because I think touching, different parts of the society, like from the seniors to youth sports organizations to kids to whatever, all the things that we do. It's very important for them to be exposed to local government, just so they can get an understanding that, all the elected officials are community spirit-minded people. Like we want to help people. We're here to help people. We're here to, guide local government, and we want to expose them to that so they can see us and we could talk about it, especially with young kids, because we need them. We need kids involved in local government. Right. And when I say kids, I mean kids from a young age to high school to college. We need folks to learn about what we do to get involved. We need involvement.
And I guess to piggyback off of that as well, what do you think has been effective in trying to get people to volunteer and get in with local government to, get their feet in the door and with these kinds of things?
There's so many aspects to it. And look, I get it. A lot of folks don't want to be in an elected position. Perfectly understand that. It's not meant for everyone. But what they can do is they can volunteer. There's boards and commissions and youth coaching, organizations, and just volunteer. Earth Day's coming up. You can go volunteer at the library. There's so many things you can get involved in just to learn about local government and what it takes to build a community.
Right. And what is your favorite thing about Deptford?
The people, the residents. I'd have to say that. The people that we meet, our neighbors, our friends, the people that we get to know, the people that are moving into Deptford, the events that we have where we get to meet all these folks because we're very event oriented. That's one of my favorite parts, of meeting people.
Right. And what's your biggest motivation to continue the work that you're doing?
To look, some people move to Florida, some people move to Texas, some people move to California. Folks like me, I'm staying here. I love my community. Couldn't be a better place. And my driving force is to keep it going, keep it prospering, especially when we leave, and we leave it in a better place.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Again, we have the mayor of Deptford here asking questions that, you might not have known about him, and thank you for coming in and,
Are you kidding? You're welcome. This is good stuff. Yeah. Very important.
Yeah. It's important for people to realize that although you are an elected official within the township, that you're also just a regular guy who grew up here, who, you did what you did, and now you're in this position where you are a driving force for the community to continue to grow.
There you go.